Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be taking a look at some r/Am I the Devil? So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in listening to with me today, then please do stick around and enjoy. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please, thank you. So, Far Season 695 reposted this and said, I smell no contact in the future. This one was originally posted to r/Am I the Borthole? Am I the Borthole for ruining my daughter's birthday? Probably. Throw away because my daughter uses Reddit. I, 45M, have 3 kids, 16M, 14M, and 12F. This story concerns 12F. Now, my daughter's birthday falls on a new year, so it tends to be disregarded, never on purpose. How do you disregard your own child's birthday? Because it's between 2 big holidays, but we've always tried to make her feel special. Yeah, sure, when you're saying you disregard it already, I can see why this OP has been labelled a massive twat. My daughter is a known introvert and tends to spend a lot of time in her room, and if we're at family events, she just sits in the corner on her phone. She's also very unconventional in the sense that she doesn't desire a lot of things that are typical of girls her age. Right, and me and my wife have tried to fix this and get her to open up, but to no avail. The issue arose because when me and my wife asked her how she wanted to spend her birthday, she said something along the lines of, alone with snacks in my room. This request wasn't outlandish for her, but spending your birthday alone doesn't seem like a good way to spend your birthday. It would also reflect poorly on us as the family likes big celebrations. Who gives a mate? It's not about your family or you massive turd. So, instead we invited family over on her birthday for a birthday New Year's celebration. It was a barbecue with lots of snacks, a projector that my brother bought, and a rented bouncy castle. I thought she would realise that this was better and a more productive way to spend her birthday, but I was wrong. She was miserable the whole time and just sat in the corner. When everyone left late at night, she started screaming at me and my wife about how we ruined her birthday. Yeah, and I bet it wasn't the first time they've ruined it either. My wife did most of the scolding as she was sent to her room. How could we ruin her birthday if her plans were just bed rotting? She was also mad that she didn't get the gift she wanted, which was a hot chocolate machine. She's the only family member who drinks hot chocolate and she's not 50, so we got her something else that we thought she would appreciate more. She's the only person in the family who drinks hot chocolate, yes, but it's her birthday and her birthday present, so it is meant to be only for her. And since when did only 50-year-olds drink hot chocolate? My kids love hot chocolate. I like a hot chocolate now and then. Not often, because I'm not really a sweet person. Like, I am a savoury girl through and through. But yeah, like, since when has there been an age range on hot chocolate? This morning, she ignored all of us, including my sons, who are on our side because they think she's being ungrateful since the party was great. Yeah, I bet the sons are complete favourites. I was just trying to make her birthday special. Am I the butthole? No, you weren't. You were trying to make her birthday about you and your wife and your sons. You didn't do a damn thing that she wanted to do. You're a dick. So down in the comments, Pointless Nostalgic 86 says, that's a long way of saying I don't like my kid, seriously, and it's hella sad. And then Little Duck Jr. says, I'm assuming no one in the family likes or values her because sitting in alone for the entirety of every family event feels abnormal for a healthy family. Nah, not really. I was like that as a kid, like to sit in on my own, like things could be going great and I'd still be the same. And my eldest is very much like that. And we have a very chilled out household, you know. But they still choose to just chill on their own a lot of the time. The option is always there to come and hang out with the rest of us, but they just enjoy alone time, and that is absolutely fine. I think when you try and force kids to spend time with you when they just want to be on their own and chilling, Like, it's just gonna have a detrimental effect to your relationship. By the way, editing me popping in really quietly because the Sproglets are actually home. Just to say that obviously that does not mean that I don't try and involve them in things. Like, I'll knock on the door and be like, hey, we're gonna watch this, do you want to join? Or we're gonna do this, do you want to join? Sometimes they will, but sometimes they'll be like, no, I just want to sit in here and have some creative time, because they're very artsy, very creative, and that's fine. Like, whatever you want to do, you do you, and the offer's there basically. So yeah, I think you have to give them that space to have that independence from you, especially as they get older. Entering like teenage years, preteen years, they don't want to hang out with you all the time. They want to be by themselves doing their own thing. And then Elaine of Astalot says, I think it's normal for the shy, introverted kids. That's how both sides of my family have always treated me. I just had to sit by myself, even at my birthday parties. My friends all say it was the same for them. I think if this OP actually cared about their kid, they'd be like, okay, if you want to do that, that's absolutely fine. But just so you know, the option is there. We will more than happily do something special for you if you want to. But if you want to chill in your room all day, that is no problem. Like, I was one of those kids that did not do parties. I was not into them at all. I just wanted to chill and, do something low key. And it really annoys me actually when people say, oh, it's not normal to want to spend time by yourself. It should be. More people should learn how to spend time with themselves and enjoy it. It's not a bad thing. So this next one was shared by a deleted user, and they said, my fiance left me for her husband. My brain hurts already. And this one was posted in r/relationship advice. My 32M fiance 30F blocked me. How can I get closure? Last year, I started going to this rock climbing gym and I met the most amazing, beautiful woman. Let's call her Crystal, you'll ever meet. She's smart, funny, kind, sweet. She has an aura that is unmatched by this entire universe. Okie dokie. Someone sounds a tad obsessive. I started questioning everything I knew about love. I had a fiancé, but my fiancé never made me feel this way. Sure, I loved her, but she never made me feel the way that Crystal felt. No woman ever did. Crystal is married, but also never felt this way before. Oh, so you're both pieces of shit. Got it. We knew we couldn't ignore this feeling, and we started dating each other. The relationship was the most amazing relationship I ever had. I called off the wedding, and Crystal said that she would divorce her husband. Yeah, we all know how that goes when it's like the person's married and they're like, I will divorce them, yes, I will. And they literally have their fingers crossed behind their back. But it would take longer because they have a daughter and she has to get her house in order before she can leave. Unfortunately for her, her husband found out because of bad OPSEC on her part. What does OPSEC mean? Someone help! Help! And this blew up everything. Well, the timing wasn't what she wanted. I figured this was a blessing in disguise, and we could start our life together even quicker than we planned. I have a decent sized house and had no problem with her moving in before we got married. But that's not what happened. She blocked me on everything. I couldn't believe it. Who could see that coming? It just come out of nowhere. I called her from a Google phone to make sure that she was safe, and she didn't answer and just messaged me saying, hey, please stop contacting me. I'm trying to work things out with my husband. I shouldn't have let it get this far between us, but I do not feel that way about you. I'm sorry for everything. My heart stopped. I begged her to call me. She never did. When I make a number, she just blocks it. I'm hurt, confused, depressed, deserved. Who said that? There's a fly in here. I just don't know, man. I don't know what this was to her. To me, she was the love of my life, someone that made me feel like a star. I realised the love you see in those fairy tale movies that I thought was for show was actually freaking real, and that you can experience it in real life. She said she felt the same, but if she felt the same, would she treat me like this? Just blocks me with barely an explanation? I don't know, man. Any advice would be helpful. I know, it's just so shocking that someone who is willing to enter into an affair with you would be dishonest. I mean, who could have seen that coming? So down in the comments, Aquarius20111 says, she has an aura that is unmatched by this entire universe. And then just a load of eye-rolly emojis. And then Trickster Priest J says, also, she does double damage against shadow-type monsters. Oh, stop it. Next one, also shared by a deleted user, man discovers parenting. Oh. Also originally posted in r/relationship advice. I, 53M, constantly frustrated by partner, 59F, constant need for sleepovers with adult daughters. Am I way off the mark here? So, I have a partner, 59F, who is very close with her daughters. She has been there for them essentially full-time their entire lives, 21F and 23F. Like a parent? I'm confused on why you're confused, OP, already. 59F is now living with me as we build up our relationship after past issues which are now resolved. Okay, so I'm assuming the daughters then are not children they have had together. But she still feels the need to sleep over at their home, also the home she came from, to be with me. One of her daughters is going through some stuff at the moment, so naturally they need to spend time together as 59F helps her through it. I fully support this, do you? Visiting after work on weekends or if she finishes early. She helps them out a lot as well, both through housework and still pays pretty much every expense they have. That bit I'd be a bit like, are they being self-sufficient? But also, let's just first figure out whether this OP is a reliable narrator, because they ended up in Am I the Devil for some reason. But I draw the line at her need to sleep over. She still has a lot of her gear at her old place. Very little has made its way to our home despite her words of commitment to me. Ouch, I just knocked my wrist on the desk. I feel that she can offer a lot of support without the need to stay there for the night. I think she still feels like, or treats her daughters like, they are 13 years old, having this need for their mum to be there full time. I don't want history repeating itself again. In the past, one night has turned into 2 nights, then the following weekend. I don't see my partner for what seems like quite an unreasonably long time. Am I way off the mark feeling this way? Is there a better way I could approach this situation so I don't feel this sense of unease about history repeating itself again, and she stays away for long periods? I mean, to be fair, if I was in a relationship with somebody and they never stayed over, I would be annoyed. If I was in a relationship with somebody and they were using all the money that we were supposed to be using for our living situation to pay for their adult children to live, I would probably be like, this is probably going to have to be scaled back a bit and they're going to have to learn a little independence. However, I fully believe that the OP has left out a hell of a lot of context here. There are obviously past issues that they have skirted over and not told us what they were. I also don't see a problem with the mum staying at her kid's house. Flippin' heck, my parents come and stay at mine sometimes. So yeah, if the OP wasn't leaving out any context, which I believe they are, I would think that it's not really a problem unless it was constant. And then they need to have a word and decide whether they want to be with them or not. However, I really feel like there is missing context here. And yeah, it just feels weird that they'd be so annoyed by the mum spending so much time with her daughters. Anyway, let's have a look what the comments say, shall we? Oh dear, it's Richardy says, lol. He says the daughters are too dependent on their mum, his partner. And then just a little gif that says, as the kettle says to the pot. And then Hesper says she has been there for them essentially full time their entire lives. Well, yeah, bud, I fucking hope she has. As that is what a parent is. Yeah, that bit cracked me up. Like, does he not understand the concept of like what it is to be a parent? Funnily enough, I have been with mine full time their whole lives too. Crazy work. Actually, sometimes it does feel really crazy when I think about it in depth and I'm like, who let me be in charge of two other humans? I'll never know. Never know. Okay, so I didn't save quite enough Am I the Devil stories to make it kind of filled out nicely time-wise. I try and make all of the videos now at least over like 20 something minutes, but just because I feel like that's nicer to listen to if you're like listening to these as like background noise whilst doing a task. So we're gonna do an Am I the Bort Hole now and see if this person belongs with the others. So this one was posted by Throwaway Embryos. Am I the bort hole for destroying embryos we were going to give to a couple we viewed as friends after they dissed us? So, a couple of years ago, my husband and I had a child via surrogacy. We had 5 top-grade embryos frozen after delivery of our child. We did not have intention of having another child, so we wanted to gift these embryos to a couple who we viewed as friends until recently. We are open about our experience with surrogacy, which is as close to a textbook case of perfection as IVF can come. We are extremely thankful, and we realise this is an outlier. Decision for IVF to healthy birth was only 15 months, which included everything, including surrogate search and vetting. While having no previous relationship, the surrogate and her family and our family have become very close. We stated that we would like to gift the embryos to a couple who would otherwise be unable to have a family. So, this couple, who were casual acquaintances, who we did consider friends, became a possibility. Let's call them Greg and Karen. Through whatever means, we were connected and discussed this possibility. The initial discussion was about whether they were interested, and if they were, we could talk about details and hopefully come to an arrangement. There was no commitment made. To protect ourselves, every interaction was recorded, and we were careful about words used under the guidance of our legal counsel. Very smart, yes. We asked for them to have legal representation and for their counsel to reach out to ours if they wanted to continue discussions on finalising an agreement. As life can be with a new child, we spent time as a family and attended fewer such social gatherings, events. So, it turns out that this couple has a very different political ideology than we do. While we disapprove of a specific elected politician, oh, the angry Cheeto in a wig, yes, they essentially worship this politician, ew. Believe it or not, we had no idea this was the case beforehand, as we always had non-political social interactions with them. Greg and Karen began telling people the deal was finalised. They began appointments at a fertility clinic and Karen was taking IVF hormones. Even more surprising, they were telling people that they are glad the deal was finalised so they would never have to see us again, stating that we were horrible people who don't deserve a child because of our political beliefs. Wow! You know, like the comment on the last post we read about the pot and kettle? Goodness me. But we're glad to get free embryos. We had multiple friends who recorded rants on several occasions and provided them to us. One rant suggested that they should make an anonymous tip to Child Protective Services so our child could be taken away. And even if that didn't make it that far, we would be extremely inconvenienced. We consulted with our legal counsel and we made the decision to instead destroy the embryos instead of gifting them. We immediately filled out the paperwork and began the process to have them destroyed. The next time their legal counsel reached out, our counsel told them the embryos were destroyed and as such there would be no agreements on gifting the embryos. We thought this would be the end, and we made sure to have no further contact with Greg or Karen. Due to changes in our lives, we were about to move far away, and there would be no reasonable situation where we would ever run into each other. Well, after loading up our moving truck and doing our final walkthrough before pulling out, we received a court summons. Greg and Karen are suing us. They are suing us for breach of contract, theft, destruction of their property, claiming we had an oral contract and the embryos were theirs, loss of wages due to fertility treatments, medical costs for fertility treatments, pain and suffering, emotional distress, and punitive damages. We presented the filing information to our legal counsel, along with recorded evidence and the contact information of friends who notified us of those incidents, who were more than happy to help us, and our legal counsel believes there is no case, but it will cost a lot to litigate, and advised us to countersue, otherwise we'd be on the hook for our own legal costs. Also, with our embryos in their possession, Karen should not have started hormone treatments for IVF. Anyway, this is not about the legalities, which we are confident are on our side. Yeah, I mean, if you've covered yourself front to back every time you've had any conversation, recorded the conversations, made sure nothing was ever signed, it's tough titties, Greg and Karen. It is what it is. When Greg and Karen started bad-mouthing us and claiming they had our embryos, am I the butthole for having them destroyed to prevent dealing with that couple, or an even worse scenario? No, I don't think so, because at the end of the day, there was no written agreement, there was no legal agreement. They are yours at the end of the day, and you can do what you want with them. Plus, I'm not sure that I could live in all good conscience knowing that I'd allowed a child to come into the world to be brought up by people like that. People who think it's fun to weaponize social services basically against someone just because they don't agree with their political beliefs, you know? So no, I don't think so. Not at all. So down in the comments, XXMimiXX2 says, not the butthole, there was no contract and you were smart enough to record everything and have a legal representative. It was clearly necessary after what you know now. I'm sure Greg and Karen were only friends with you because of the embryos. Luckily, they weren't as smart and did sabotage themselves with their behaviour and rants that prove their bad intentions and lies. As it were your embryos, obviously it's yours to decide what to do with them, and it definitely was the right choice, as Greg and Karen wouldn't have been good parents. Doesn't matter if they worship the wrong politician. In general, people like that only care about themselves and are insufferable to deal with. I wouldn't want any child to grow up with that mindset. Update me, edit, just corrections of mistakes I saw. Okay, I think that's all we've got time for today. It is late and my bed is calling my name. I can hear it. Can you hear it? I can hear it. If you made it all the way to the end with me, then I appreciate you very, very much. If you give a little like, subscribe, notifications on, that'll be your initiation into the Coven of Void. Welcome. Don't forget to leave a comment for algorithms pleasings. We have to please the algorithm gods. It is very important. Whatever it is you're doing for the day, I hope you have a really good rest of the day. Goodbye.